All right. How was that? If you're like me, I say that I don't argue much. When I'm forced to write it down, I realize man, I'm just like anybody else, and there are situations that I'll get in arguments about that typically comes down for control. I want someone to do things the way that I want them because I'm right. I want someone to think the way that I do because I'm right. I want someone to see that I'm right and admit that I'm right, and I'll keep arguing until I do. Can you relate to this? Maybe it's just me, but I bet you can at some point. Maybe not recently, but at some point. In essence, what I'm saying is that I want to be in control of someone's mind and behavior. And when you say it out loud like that, it sounds kind of silly, wouldn't you agree? But I sometimes think I have that power to say the right thing or to be so stubborn that I can change someone. But in fact, it's rarely possible. If you ask yourself this, the question is, how many people do you actually need to agree with you and think that you're right? It's probably a lot less than what we do on a subconscious level. Maybe there are a few. Maybe a coworker, a spouse or a partner or a roommate. Maybe there are some issues that we really need to be aligned with. But chances are there's not many people, and it's not every single thing that we try to exhibit our will upon. So of all these things that we argue about, another question is to ask, does it really matter? As we discussed earlier, most people find it difficult to maintain confidence in themselves without some signs that other people like them. And so this one's kind of a double whammy, that if you're disagreeing with me, it means that one, I don't have control of you, and two, you may not approve of what I think. So this is a pretty emotionally triggered concept here. Also, we need other people to agree with us and go along with our views and suggestions in order to feel that we have some control over our world and others. And so when you think about it, to assume that that's true isn't going to do you very many favors. In other words, you don't really need everyone to agree with you. Now, earlier we said yesterday that there's some people that when the car is tailgating you and they ride up on your tail, will become anxious because it indicates that we're going too slowly. If your knee-jerk response was, I would never do that, somebody comes up on my tail, I pump the brakes. All that means is that you're replacing one stress-based action, approval seeking, for another, which is battling for control. Pumping the brakes is saying, you're in my world now, Grandma. You will slow down because I am making you slow down. And we think that we've gained control by putting on the brakes. But think about that for a second. Who's really in control? We say the driver behind us, who managed to wind us up so much and get us to change the way that we were driving, whether it was to speed up or slow down. Now, if you let go of your need for approval, that means you don't speed up, and you let go of your need for control, which is you don't slow down, what action do you have left? It's a good question, right? It means that all we're responsible for is the task at hand, which is really getting safely from point A to point B. And it's not to be concerned with the person behind us if they dislike our driving or if they disagree with how we're doing. So chew on that today. Tomorrow, once again, we'll get into some other major headings for control. And if this one didn't just align exactly with you, don't worry. I bet tomorrow will be even more valuable to you. Until then, see you tomorrow.